Good afternoon, beautiful traders. Welcome to today's market color session. This is just a recap. This is just a recap of what we analyzed during the London market color session. Right, so I'd like to crave our indulgence. Let me share the link to this session to everyone on our various social media platforms so that this can get to as many people as possible. I'll be giving us 30 seconds to do that, and we will be heading straight to the analysis. All right, we are back. On the monthly time frame for DXY, nothing has really changed from what we've been looking at for a couple of weeks now. All right, nothing has really changed from what we've been looking at for a couple of weeks. Overall bullish move, and then we saw a sweep of these equities. Please, if you can hear me, please kindly type in chat box if I can be heard. Please kindly type in chat box if you can hear me. Okay, thank you for confirming that. And on the weekly time frame, we've seen a break of this low, and we're seeing more push to the downside. Coming down to the daily time frame, price breaking out and breaking above this high, and we're seeing this retracement. And of course, there's the classic box pattern right here, shoulder at 97.587, sweep to the downside, break to the upside. All we want to see price do is for price to retrace back into this left shoulder and keep buying off that point. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame also. In 4-hour time frame, we can actually also spot the box pattern strategy for a buy right here, right? Shoulder, sweep, break, price, return into this level, and we're seeing some reaction of that point. Right, so price is presently retracing back into this left shoulder. Any moment from now, I will be willing to go bullish on DXY. Coming down to the 1-hour time frame, we had this analysis on Wednesday where we said that price was going to tap into this left shoulder for a sell on 1-hour time frame. Shoulder right here at 98.295, sweep to the upside, break to the downside. Price returned precisely into this left shoulder, and we're seeing some push to the downside. Where do I think price is going into? Price just wants to trade into this left shoulder right here on 4-hour time frame. And once price gets there, I'm willing to go bullish on DXY. Now to GBP USD. The monthly time frame for GBP USD, sorry about my chat, it's quite sketchy, right? Overall direction is to the downside, so I break up this high right here on the weekly time frame at the monthly time frame, I beg your pardon, at 1.33894. And coming down to the weekly time frame, we're seeing this push all the way to the upside, right? So fibbing this most recent swing from point A to point B, price tapped into 61.8% fib level, and we've seen a reaction of that fib level. And down to the daily time frame, on daily time frame, all we saw was a change of character, a break of structure. We saw price to keep breaking higher. We saw price coming here, formed a lower low, broke structure. And of course, seeing that this has happened, all you'll be looking out for is actually sell opportunities, except of course, this high gets broken on daily time frame, the high at 1.35897. And down to the 4-hour time frame, let's see what price does. Right, so price just traded into this high at 1.35878, and we're seeing some reaction of that level. Right, so let's see if we can spot any entry for sell of GBP USD. Right, I actually can't spot any. Right, except of course price retraces into this left shoulder on the 1-hour time frame. The left shoulder at 1.34348. And let's see if we can spot more entries on the 15 minutes time frame for a sell. This is not so clear, but there's a shoulder right here on the 15 minutes time frame at 1.35798, sweep to the upside, break to the downside. This is what we want to see price do. We want to see price trade into this left shoulder. Once price gets there, I am willing to sell GBP USD. If you have questions or different bias from what I'm saying, please feel free to type in the chat box. And the monthly time frame for Euro USD being the last currency pair in my list. Overall direction to the downside. Seeing a sweep of this liquidity, right? Coming down to the weekly time frame too, seeing a break of this high. And all I'm willing to do is to fib from point A to point B to see what price did. Price tapped into 61.8% fib level, and we saw some reaction at that point. Coming down to the daily time frame too, pretty much the same thing that was done on GBP USD is being replicated here. Change of character, break of structure, and what have you. So we will be looking out for sell opportunities instead, except otherwise. So for Euro USD, there's the classic box pattern right here, shoulder, sweep, break, price returned and tapped into this left shoulder at 1.17136. So, we saw some reaction of that point, but then we're seeing that price is returning into that left shoulder to trade into it again, and then continue itself all the way to the downside. I'm looking out for sell opportunities on Euro USD. Once price returns and retraces into this left shoulder, I'm willing to slam Euro USD all the way to the downside. On the 15 minutes time frame also, it's not so clear, it's a bit sketchy. Something like a shoulder right here at 1.17136, sweep to the upside, break to the downside. All I want to see price do is for price to retrace back into 1.17136. And once price gets there, I'm willing to sell Euro USD. Please, if you have questions at this point or different bias from what has just been said, please type in chat box before Lakon comes up with analysis on precious metals and the yen basket. Please, if you have questions, type in chat box. And while we're doing that, I'd like to announce that registration for the FX Bootcamp training is currently ongoing. For more inquiries on how to go about your registration, please send us a message on WhatsApp. And this is the contact to message 081 60 99 50 30. Again, 081 60 99 50 30. If there are no questions from your end, we'll be going on this very brief break, and Lakon will be coming up for his analysis on precious metals and the yen basket. Cheers and God bless.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Market Call Up brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team. All right, so this afternoon we are going to be looking at the precious metal, and at the same time we will go to Japan to see what is going on the yen basket, and after which we are going to look at the yen correlated pairs. All right, so let's quickly start with the weekly time frame of the precious metal. Just as we said this morning, we are on the call this morning. You are going to observe we've not really had more changes in the market, and we know why that is happening. Just as we said this morning, that today is going to be a very quiet day in the market because of we have some bank holidays going on, and at the same time, there are no much fundamental news that would inject much liquidity into the market. But next week is going to be a very big one. All right, so if you look at it, everywhere is still in a range. We are in a range after the long move on the weekly time frame, and the daily time frame confirms that consolidation. And just as you know, and we've always said that whenever we're in a consolidation like that, it's either you stay out of the market, or if it is in the higher time frame, you tend to sell at premium and buy at discount. What do we mean by that? Meaning at the upper side of the range, you look for opportunity to sell, and at the lower side of the range, you look for opportunity to buy. All right. So this is the daily time frame, still within the range. And what we just do is go to your lower time frame, like 1 hour, 15 minutes, to look for opportunity to take trades. All right. And on 4-hour time frame, we are also still in a very strong consolidation of 4 hours. And just as I said this morning, that we are in a range, but we are not at any extreme of the range. We are in a range and the middle of the range. So that is a very confusing situation on the precious metal right now. So if you are trying to buy or sell, you are just forcing trades, and that is not a good decision as a trader. There are days like this where the market impose a public holiday, a break for you as a trader. And that is exactly what we see playing out in the market right now. All right. So if you look at it on the 1 hour time frame too, just as we said in the morning, that's nothing in the 1 hour time frame for us. But the smallest time frame, 15 minutes to be specific. Remember this morning, our outlook for 15 minutes using our boss strategy, we've seen this is the sweep of liquidity here. And before we see the market structure shift at the top here, we see price build liquidity below here before the market structure shift. So our analysis this morning is we should allow price to trade, since we were here when during the session in the morning, that we should allow price to trade to come and take out this liquidity here. And when it takes it out, we should look for our entry signature for a buy, and can easily buy back to the upside. All right. So our analysis still remains the same. Yes, we see price attempt to clear that liquidity point, but pushes back from this place. However, you can still see since morning there's no show, there's nothing in the market. Everywhere is just a bit quiet. And now we are seeing price pushing a little bit lower. Let's see, maybe during the New York session, we are going to see some liquidity in the market. I don't know where it's going to come from on a Friday afternoon, but we may see if that plays out, then that means if this liquidity level is being taken out, we may give it a shot to buy when we see buy signature from this level, and we are buying all the way to the upside. All right, so that is that for the precious metal this afternoon and for the end of the day, which is Friday. A quick one to Japan to see what is going on the yen basket. Now, if you look at the yen basket, let's even see something on the monthly time frame of the yen basket. Now, we've always analyzed from the weekly time frame, but my attention, I saw something on the monthly time frame this afternoon that, yes, we see this is the monthly order block, and that's a very big deal for the yen basket, of which we are expecting price to trade into that order block, meaning for it to come and take out this liquidity and trade properly into the monthly time frame, of which then we can now begin to expect the long of the yen basket that we've been waiting for. All right. And if you look at it from the weekly time frame, there is a confirmation to that thesis that we want price to still come, take out this liquidity, and we have a reference point in here, which is this fair value gap. All right. So when price taps into that place, then you can now begin to buy. But all throughout this week, we did not really see a strong move on the yen. And just as I said earlier, it is across board. So this week is more of a very quiet week in the market where everybody just observe, enjoy what we've gotten the past weeks in the market. All right, so this is it. This is where we are still expecting price to trade into. Today being the end of the trading week, and also from the opening of Monday till Tuesday, we still, even next week, we expect that the yen basket should sell off to this point and we resume our buy. But on the daily time frame, what are we seeing? Yes, we are seeing something like a bust pattern on the daily time frame of the yen basket here. If you look at it very well, you're going to observe this looks like a sweep of liquidity, but is not very obvious. And as we all know, that if it is not obvious, it is dubious. So we shouldn't just assume that. So better we wait for the weekly time frame to align, and we are going to take our long-term trade. All right. And this is 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame giving us, yeah, the vibe like, yes, you can buy somewhere around this place. Why? Because of our shoulder pattern that we already seen. We've seen here. So we're expecting price to still trade little more to this level and start buying the yen basket. Now, if you are looking for buy opportunities on the yen basket, that is simply telling us that the yen correlated pairs should be selling if the buy opportunity starts on the yen basket. But before that, we are expecting the yen baskets to sell into our POI takeout liquidity. Now, as that sell is happening, we are expecting buys on the yen correlated pair like this GBP JPY. Now, this is GBP JPY on the daily time frame. Remember, our POI for the daily time frame still remains this point. This is the daily fair value gap that we are still expecting GBP JPY to trade into, because it has already created more than 3 times touched this level. This is the first attempt. It attempted it here, but did not really touch it. And now it has attempted it here again, and this is third time right here. So we are expecting that that level should be broken and price should trade into this zone, this fair value gap that we have here. And remember, if you compare it to the other yen correlated pairs, we already see others already got into their POI, especially Euro JPY. So Euro JPY is only waiting. So next week, these are the expectations that we should see playing out on pairs like GBP JPY. We expect it to buy into next week, and if possible, all through next week. While Euro JPY, two things happens. Is either it buys a little bit more to the upside, or it range all throughout next week because it already accomplished its own move. Now, what is the 4 hour analysis of GBP JPY? Now, if you are looking at GBP JPY from the 4 hour time frame, we've not really seen a clear market structure shift. This is not a bust pattern because the liquidity is not really given clearly, right? So better we wait. Now, on the 1 hour time frame, what are we seeing? On the 1 hour time frame, the best thing we are going to do is just stay out because we did not really see a clear bust pattern here. So don't force the trade, allow it to play out before you take it. All right. And if you want to go to the lower time frame, if there is scalper to see what is going on, just as we said this morning, that we should allow price trade to go and take out this liquidity here and we start buying all the way back up. Or just as we said also, if we have two low probability trade this morning for GPGPY, first, this 2-minute order block, the price is going to tap into it. Yes, it did just that. But we look forward more that price should take out this as a liquidity point. Why? Because we did not see this last move take out this. So this is a clear structural shift. All right. So let's see what becomes of GBP today. And today being Friday is a very quiet day. It's not every day that you see a setup to trade in the market. So just as we said, the same thing applies to Euro JPY. But look at Euro JPY on the 4 hour time frame compared to what we are seeing on GBP Euro JPY already give a signature of the bust pattern. This is the shoulder. We've seen the sharp move to the upside that took out liquidity here. And we've also seen the very big forceful move that broke structure to the downside. Now price has come tap into the shoulder level since Wednesday, and we've been seeing it, pushing to the downside. just that because we are expecting a yen weakness, that's why we did not see the follow through of the sell. So instead, we are going to see Euro JPY range some days to come, today into next week. If possible, all through next week, there's high probability we see Euro JPY just ranging, while GBP JPY would be buying all the way to its QP. When it gets to its POI, then we can now begin to see the sell of GBP JPY. All right, so that is all for the yen correlated pairs, and at the same time for the precious metal. If you have any question, you can easily type in the chat box. Let's quickly address it. And if none, this is going to be the end of the market column. All right, so if there's no further question, this is going to be the end of the market column brought to you by the Value Trading team. Make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. See you next week, Monday, 8:30 a.m. time. Cheers and God bless.